very good. Okay, very good.
Welcome to another episode of Hard Factor presented by the Barstool News Network. It is Tuesday, November 3rd, 2020, and that's election day. That's why I was screaming into the microphone like a crazy person because, fellas, we have been doing this show for 600 episodes, over 2 years, and today's probably the biggest day we've had. A presidential election while doing this news show.
It's like the Super Bowl and the Olympics and the World Cup wrapped into one. It's
March Madness. It's crazy.
It's as big as it gets for the Hard Factor boys.
The football isn't in the Olympics.
You take all these events. It's like Christmas and Hanukkah and all the best holidays, Thanksgiving wrapped into one.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. I don't know about that joyous. We'll get into that for sure. We got some stories about that, but
I don't know if you've ever had dinner at a Thanksgiving table, but it's not always joyous.
Well,
Half the people don't get presents.
That's true. Yeah, so it's like a real life. It's not a storybook Christmas or not a storybook holiday, but it's like a real life holiday. We're definitely going to talk a little bit about the election coming up, obviously, but we got some other good stories as well mixed in. Two apiece. Wes, get us going.
All right. Got an update on the South Dakota Attorney General, Jason Ravnsborg, however the fuck you want to say it.
I think it's Ravensburg, right?
I thought that until I saw this clip. Bubba, why don't you just go ahead and roll this clip? It's a local
Authorities say Ravnsborg was distracted on September 12th and went onto the shoulder of the road when he hit and killed a Highmore man. According to the crash report just released minutes ago, Joe Beaver was walking on the shoulder of the road with a light. And at this point, authorities don't know what distracted Ravnsborg, but they do know he was distracted when he left the driving lane and hit Beaver. Investigators are still waiting on toxicology information and the coroner's final reports on Beaver's death. Just minutes ago, investigators also released this picture of Ravnsborg's car, where you can see the broken windshield and damaged bumper.
He killed a beef. He killed a beef.
It's silent VN.
You're right. Yeah, it is. Ravnsborg.
That's impossible. Weird. That's not on us.
The options are Ravensborg, Ravnsborg.
There's no way you'd think Ravnsborg.
It's Ravensborg
with a V and an N next to it.
Ravensborg.
Spell it for us. Spell it.
It's RAVNSBORG, I think, or RAVENS. Yeah, it's Ravensborg or Ravensborg.
So this is the guy who said he hit a deer, but he hit it.
Right.
He killed a beeve, Will. I didn't know that. I didn't know that he killed a fellow beeve. And
Mr. Beaver, yes, he did.
Yeah, he remember he was at a fundraising event, like the Drunken Moose Knuckle or some shit, and he was driving home. It was late at night. He called 911 saying he didn't know what he hit, but he definitely hit something. The cop came out. They didn't find the guy. Then they went back out the next day. They found the guy. It's very shady. So the development is that he was definitely distracted. Remember the guy's cousin, Nick Namick, who was like all over, obviously this is fucking bullshit. It doesn't take a genius to figure out what happened here. He thinks maybe that, he was texting, whatever.
Yeah, he was distracted by the hops and the grains, maybe.
Right. Maybe that.
The barley.
The way out the
right. Right. So this guy, his cousin, is saying, well, at least we can give him distracted driving, which is apparently they just passed a law in July in South Dakota where it's like this shitty fine, like you can't text and drive, like most places are doing. But now this guy's saying, well, at least we can give him distracted driving. Then maybe that leads to involuntary manslaughter. And we got our legal expert here.
So.
Right. He killed somebody. Yeah. So we got our legal expert intern Cam here.
Plowed a beaver, but not in a good way.
How's it going, guys?
Hey,
What's up, buddy?
Hey, Cam. Thanks for joining.
All right. Well, let me just say first to all the listeners out there, I'm not an attorney. I'm not licensed to give legal advice. These are my opinions.
Shut the fuck up and give us your legal advice.
Okay.
With all that being said,
why are attorneys such bitches with that shit? They're always like, "I'm going to give you a disclaimer." Just fucking tell us what they tell us what they learned.
Probably how they got to be attorneys.
Smart. Yeah,
being litigious.
Nerd shit to protect myself. That's what it is.
My brother's always saying that shit to me when I'm trying to figure out what crimes I may have committed.
And he's an attorney.
Your brother's doing it to you?
He always does it to me. When he was in law school, I was like, "Hey, what's your advice on this?" And he was like, "Oh, I'm not officially." Shut up! You're my brother. Give me legal advice.
I couldn't possibly comment.
Okay.
But yeah, Wes, going on what you said, the distracted driving charge up to the manslaughter seems like quite the leap for me. I did a little bit of digging, and turns out that there's a separate statute specifically for vehicular homicide in South Dakota. But for him to be like found guilty under that statute, you have to be DUI. You have to be drunk, high. You have to be on something. So he may have saved himself if he was in fact drunk.
Was he sober? Do we have confirmation?
He went home and slept it off. Whether
oh right, he left the car. He left the scene.
We know he left a bar. We don't know if he was drunk. He left the bar.
Toxicology reports that came back said that there was no alcohol in his system, but definitely 12 hours later. So we're never going to know.
Well, we do know, however, I think the cop is going to get charged with negligence, because if you call the police and you're like, hey, I think I hit someone, a cop rolls out there, there's a dead guy, the cop doesn't find him, and the guy's presumed to be intoxicated, right? Cam, is there a negligence play there for the police officer?
Well, but the important fact here is this happened in South Dakota. So when you have somebody calling and saying they hit a deer, that might not even be worth an officer visit that night.
Yeah. And it probably wasn't
though.
If they thought it was a deer.
No one calls 911 and says I hit a deer in South Dakota.
Okay, there is no South Dakota cop negligence statute, because every sheriff in South Dakota is like drunk on whiskey, asleep, like in the saloon, like the old westerns.
Well, before Cam said that, I was going to say it's a good point. You can get him. I mean, that is a breach of duty. You have a negligence case against a cop for that. I mean, they're going out there to do their job.
That dead deer that night. Yeah,
they didn't find the person.
That sounds like getting the first charge to stick or jump up to a manslaughter.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. So Cam found the loophole with the vehicular homicide, but they want to get him on vehicular manslaughter. So they're probably trying to get this lesser charge in order to be able to upgrade it to the supercharge or whatever, superseding charge.
Unless his distraction was he was handwriting a letter talking about how he couldn't wait to run over a human being. It's kind of hard to say distracted driving to manslaughter, right? Like that's
yeah. But this attorney general does have like the final trump card that he could pull off. If all other bets were off, just hold a little press conference, say the attorney general's office has determined at this time that there will be no further investigation.
He can drop the charges against himself.
I mean, he's not going to charge himself, right?
Well, that would be a lot of fun though if he did.
The FBI is involved now.
Yeah, I know that was a joke. He's probably in trouble.
He could also drop the line, "Who's going to judge me harder than myself?"
Exactly. Or what if he had multiple personalities? Have you thought about that? I feel like a movie is developing here.
Yeah,
it could be a really good movie. You have the attorney general has multiple personalities, and he prosecutes himself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, one thing I was thinking of, they could probably nail him on some sort of like fleeing the scene. Because if you think that you hit something, like you got to stop.
He called the cops.
He did stop, but he definitely. I feel like he definitely knew he hit a person. I feel like that was
at least he got away with. What I mean. What he probably got away with is pretty intense.
Yeah.
Do you think Ravensbourg can win a re-election after getting away with this?
Ravensbourg.
I mean, like he literally is getting away with the.
Well, you saw the car. I mean,
that car was fucked up.
It wasn't like he clipped it. Like he hit it head on.
What happened is Joe Officer showed up on the scene. And he said, "Hey, Joe Officer, you work for me." And Joe Officer's like, "Yeah, Attorney General, what's up?" And he's like, "I hit this guy. Here's what we're gonna do."
Yeah, he definitely. I'm with you, Pat. I think that's what happened too.
Wasn't the officer his brother-in-law?
I don't know. Was he? I don't think so.
I thought there was.
It's South Dakota. There's like 14 people total.
Yeah, 25% chance, Bubba.
That'd be fucked
Good
up.
shot. Yeah.
Well. Yeah. That's what's going on. They don't know they're not releasing exactly what distracted him yet, but they say it's almost complete. So hopefully we'll get the full story and either charges will be brought.
Oh yeah, sure. Sounds like we're gonna get the full straight shooter version.
Reports say he was distracted by fleeing from the responsibility for his actions.
Right, exactly.
He's probably texting which woman in town he was going to go adulterize with, and then looked up too late and smashed into
his hands were full.
Yeah.
Regardless
Beaver-
of what he was focusing on at that very second.
Right.
Yeah.
The beaver's cousin was quoted as saying, "A deer doesn't look like a human."
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, the
Or-
Beavers
or
have got to
scream
be
like one.
upset about this. I mean, that's all what's kind of getting forgotten here is that Ravensborg.
True.
I mean, while he is a master of maneuvering, obviously like legal shit, like Beaver is he got hit and he's dead. So
Yeah.
Yeah, but the way this is going to play out is the Beavers are just going to probably take vigilante justice in their own hands and go kill this guy. Even though he's the attorney general, like they probably still will.
Yeah. Could. So we'll keep you posted. And then real quick, just some good news. McDonald's is bringing back the McRib after 8 long years. Yeah. After 8 long years, the McRib is coming back. Slipping profits. They're sending in the car in the form of the McRib. I don't know, Bub, if you have that clip. It's not really needed.
Send in the car.
I just wanted to play that.
Is it Die
Send in the
Hard?
car.
What is
Yeah,
that?
Die Hard. Yeah, it's Die Hard.
what does that have to do with the
What does that
McRib?
have to do with the McRib?
It's the proverbial car they're sending
the
over the
Mc-
McRib.
They're sending the McRib. McDonald's is sending in the car in the form of the McRib.
Wow, that's a stretch.
Because in Die Hard, they took the Nakatomi building,
That's
and
right.
they were all out of options.
We've all seen Die Hard, but did they
I don't
send
think
in,
you have
Did they send in sandwiches with the?
a
No,
proverbial.
Why
you're
is it
proverbial.
the car?
You're missing it. You
So
guys are
any-
missing
last
it. Pat
resort.
gets it.
Play the
So
clip
I
again,
gets it.
Bubba.
Any movie clip would have done.
No,
Play
it's
it.
a,
Car. Send in the car.
You get it now?
McRib.
So we played it. We played it again.
yeah, it's not no more clear.
Now you
I mean,
get
I'm
it.
just assuming it's the last resort of some
Literally
sort, right?
any movie clip
Right.
that Wes liked would have done there.
That's exactly right. And I'm
Anything
glad we
where
had
they're
this
trying their
conversation.
last trick. Yeah.
It sparked this lovely conversation.
Yeah.
So they're sending in the car, and
In the form of the McRib, Wes.
in the form of the McRib.
Yeah. Okay.
Starting December 2nd, you'll be able to get the car, and you'll be able to drive that car. Apparently in Germany, they have this thing all the fucking time, but we're going to get it back after 8 years, so
That makes
some good
sense.
news there. Yeah.
I see in Austin, Texas, send in the car live content coming soon. rolling through McDonald's.
Yeah, we need a shirt that's just the McRib that says "Send in the car."
Yeah.
So wait, why is it the car though?
Let's move on.
I'm still
No, let's move on.
You don't get it?
Well, why is it the last resort? What's wrong with McDonald's?
Because
Because
Han
they're
Super
slumping.
has taken over the Nakatomi building at this point, and they know John McClane is inside.
because
so
it's all those damn vegans, Will.
Pretend McDonald's is the Nakatomi that is slipping in profits, and in order to save it, they need to bring in the car, which is the
Gruber
McRib.
and his German or Austrian terrorists have really established themselves in the Nakatomi Christmas party.
He also could have played the scene at the end of the Rookie of the Year with the floating pitch. Could have been anything, really. Just
Yep.
I saw Burger
McRib's
King's
one.
also
Yeah.
encouraging people to eat McRibs too.
Let's move on.
Yeah,
Will,
right.
Will, you're up.
There you go.
no, yeah, Will's up. Yeah.
Okay.
Send
All
in
right.
the car.
Well, it is election day, everybody. It's finally here. Election day 2020. The day we've all been waiting for to get here and pass quickly, hopefully. I think that's what most people are hoping for. I don't know. Maybe you want to just revel in election day 2020 forever. You're a psycho if you want that. 95 million plus people have already voted, and early and mail-in ballots already cast. The assumption on those votes is that it's probably about a 2-to-1 Democrat over Republican lead generally. That's based on exit polling and stuff like that. And so today, on November 3rd, Tuesday, the election day itself, we'll see if Republican voters have enough left in the tank on election day, enough votes left in the tank, and are energized enough to catch up with the early vote and mail-in vote firewall for the Democrats.
I'm talking about having them send in the car, so to speak.
Right.
Yeah.
The Republicans are sending in the car today. Yeah.
That's right.
Send in the car. Send in the car.
Yeah, except for the.
I get
in
it
this
now.
case,
I get it now.
in this case, the car is just something that you do every 4 years on a Tuesday.
I get it.
Yeah.
It doesn't. I'm not getting it still. Yeah, the
Christmas
USA.
is coming where we can watch Die Hard together. I'll
Okay.
explain it to you.
Okay, the USA is on track for a record voter turnout of all time. with over 65%
Good for
of
us.
eligible voters participating this time, and over 150 million votes likely to be cast by the time it's all said and done. All-time highs. That's the best citizen participation rate since 1908 in the United
Pat yourselves on
States.
the back, everyone. That's really impressive.
Yeah, well,
Also, I told you guys to pick that 160 million plus when it was at like 28 cents on Predict It.
Yep, you did.
there you go. It'll probably hit. We're going to have tons of votes. Being locked at home for COVID all year made it probably, more people offering early voting, mail-in
Yeah.
options, made it a little
It's like-
easier to vote.
This is the first thing some people have done in months. Just vote.
Right. Yeah. So lots of time to focus on it. Hope you made your choice, got your shit in. And as it turns out, even though we're on track to shatter all voting records, people are continuing to freak out about the election. So you'd think that everybody getting their comment in would be a good thing. No, seems to be just adding fuel to the fire. Coach Doug's is now being attacked by Germanic satanic Lady Gaga worshippers for spoofing her Biden campaign ad video. You guys have seen those replies.
Yeah, they're terrifying. Who knew that she had such a large following in Germany that we're all into the
Satanism.
Satan stuff?
Yeah.
Where did we see those same? There
Trump.
were
They've
Trump.
attacked Trump as well.
They've
with
attacked
Trump,
him.
but a lot of them were South American. I noticed a lot of them were from South
Okay.
America.
Yeah. Well, they're all crazy. They post a lot of satanic gifts. It's weird looking.
I told you guys that Gaga story that James Aber told me that one time where he was hanging out. James Aber, a buddy from college, used to live with Lady Gaga's right hand, essentially, and he heard Gaga music blasting from like really loud from a car around his corner, and he came outside. It was so loud, and it was Gaga blasting
Rolling up.
her
her own music, rolling up to the house.
Her own music. Nice.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Solid move.
Why not?
Yeah.
Who does
Yeah.
that? Yeah.
I mean, if I had that many number one hits, I'd probably do it too.
100%.
Yeah. It's the equivalent of like in Coming to America, all the people that walk in front of Prince Akeem and his dad.
Right.
Tim Jones. Yeah.
That's like something you'd do as a joke on a ridiculous celebrity in a comedy movie. Yeah, and there's also still a giant argument over who are all the buildings boarding up against, and Mark's going to tell us more about that later. So the election night scenarios, these are the states that are in play in the presidential election. Maine, leaning Democratic. New Hampshire, leaning Democratic. Pennsylvania, North Carolina, both of those looking like toss-ups right now. Georgia, leaning Republican. Florida, toss-up, maybe leaning Republican. Ohio, leaning Republican. Michigan, toss-up, leaning Democrat. Wisconsin, toss-up. The polls seem to be crazy there. Minnesota, which is crazy because it's gone Democrat for ever. Iowa.
I think you can leave Minnesota off. I'm with you all the way up to Minnesota. But
I
think
would,
that's
but
Democrat.
the reason I left Minnesota on is because Texas is on this list. So,
Maine went red last election, right? I think Maine was the only. East
no,
Coast
I think
that
it's
went red.
split, but it,
Yeah, it's Maine 2 or whatever. Yeah.
right, and then Arizona and Nevada. But the reason I left, Mark, you have a good point about Minnesota. It's never really gone red. The reason I left it on there though is because Texas is also on
Okay,
there. People
fair
are
enough,
saying
fair
so.
enough.
Those two, can we all agree that we think those are apparitions and they're probably going to
Yeah, I
go
think
red
Texas
and blue?
is red, Minnesota's blue. Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
And so with all those states in the balance, if Trump wins Pennsylvania or two of the three, so if he wins Pennsylvania or Michigan and Wisconsin together, that's really good for him. If Biden wins North Carolina, Georgia, or Florida, any of those individually, he's looking for a knockout. And basically all the important polls, the important swing states are going to be closed by 10 p.m. Eastern time. Now, that doesn't mean we're going to know the winner by 10 p.m. Eastern time, but that means polls will be closed.
I don't want to wish this into existence, but there are two swing states that if Trump wins one of them, the ones that kind of lean Democrat, like Wisconsin being one of them, and another one that has the same amount of electoral college votes as Wisconsin, I think it might be even Minnesota, it's a tie.
Well, so the election,
God.
There's two states that could make it a tie.
Mark, you know what also makes it very likely that happens is if Trump surprisingly takes New Hampshire. For some reason, that
Okay.
particular amount of votes.
So there's a third scenario.
And guys, we're going to have Casey Phillips on the stream tonight, who is an expert on what happens when elections end in a tie. He
Excellent.
did a documentary about how tied elections are handled. Sometimes
he
it's rock,
made
paper,
he made a
scissors.
movie about this exact scenario.
Yeah, so we'll have Casey on
Perfect.
to talk about this.
269 electoral college tie would be electric. It would be the first time it ever happened. What happens in that scenario is the House votes on who becomes the president. They get one vote per state. per group of House representatives, and then the Senate picks the vice president. So that's what would happen. It's like a roulette wheel, and it's never landed on 00 before this election. I mean, some of the projections actually look like it could. Taking it to the internet, we've got Anthony Walsh in the Hardo Hive. He says, what are your thoughts on somebody who voted early but died before Election Day? Should it count?
Man, that's a tough one. The only reason this one's tough for me is because I read the story about the very young lady who had cancer and died, and all she wanted was her vote to count, and it didn't. So I'm going to say I don't.
It should absolutely count.
No, I don't think it should count.
No,
You don't think it should count? I think it should count.
Not if they died.
But if you're not
before the
alive
election.
on the day of the election, how
You cast the vote.
Yeah,
You
I
fucking
don't-
cast the vote.
but you're not alive on the day of the election.
With as much litigation and total bullshit right now for people trying to throw votes out, I'm willing to concede the dead person's vote.
Yeah, I'm not passionate
sorry.
about it either
Yeah.
way. That's for sure.
I'm just saying, if you're making rules, like rules of a game, if somebody's not alive on the day it happens, you probably don't count that.
Well,
That-
John
What if
Mulroney
they die
joked-
leaving the poll?
If
That's
they
the other
voted
thing.
already, though, I think they should count.
They did vote already. John Mulroney joked. John Mulroney
Kinda
joked
got to
about
make it to
how,
the finish line, don't you?
how
know?
his
I mean,
94-year-old grandmother shouldn't be able to vote.
It was a great joke.
which
You
was
shouldn't order
funny.
for the table if you're leaving the restaurant.
Exactly. Yeah.
Good
You can't
point.
just get up and have everyone eat when you're gone.
That's
John Mulaney, shout out. That Saturday Night Live was a good monologue.
That was a funny monologue.
good opener. Taking it to the internet one more time, we got reliable Soylord. He says, if your boomer doesn't win, what will your new life be on Wednesday morning? Hashtag election 2020. The options are raider, wasteland scavenger, sewer shaman, or subsistence farmer. Which one are you guys going with that?
Subsistence farmer. I mean, I'm going to do that at some point in my life anyway.
Wasteland scavenger.
Yeah. I was leaning wasteland scavenger or sewer shaman myself. But
Yeah, one of the middle two, for sure.
You don't want to be
like
in a sewer.
Well, I do like cats. I could bring my cats in the sewer. I could be large and in charge in the sewer.
raiding would be cool, but I don't think I have the balls to be a raider.
Well,
Not at this
Yeah.
age.
No way.
None of
I
us,
mean,
we're all pussies. None of us would be raiders.
Splinter the giant rat lives in the sewer, which might be a problem for your cats.
No, my cats would take the rats out and I would feast on rats.
But you've seen, I'm talking about Splinter is the size of a human, and he knows kung fu or karate.
Grow fat on rats. All right, well,
Lots of
I mean,
spiders in sewers.
Okay, thanks, Wes. I'll be a wasteland scavenger.
stay away from the spiders. Well, I thought that the Soylord came up with a good point there. We'll see who's going to be crowned King Boomer, basically. If Biden loses, it will be studied in history books forever. The funding lead he had, the polling lead he had, the Lady Gaga video choice. If Trump loses, it's probably going to represent a return to more status quo politics in
The
America.
Gaga video will not be in history.
Oh, it will be examined. Either way, it's the largest election turnout of all time. So I hope people will be able to handle the results and just chill and follow us on our live stream, like the Beeve was saying, starting at 6 p.m. Eastern tonight. We will be providing updates from all the major news sources on our feed, so you don't even have to watch if you don't want to. We'll be telling you what's happening all the time. We'll be updating bets, and then probably just basically wasting our time until we find out who King Boomer is, hopefully before like Wednesday afternoon.
So, guys, we're going to have to get together early and record What the Fuck Wednesday. Just a heads up.
We're gonna figure it out.
We might be recording it live on stream. I mean,
Yeah,
we
you might
never know
just
it.
have to listen to the pod.
If people want to hear What the Fuck Wednesday live instead
Yeah.
of the election, and then we cut in. Oh, and New Hampshire went too. I don't know.
Yeah,
We'll
we're
see.
probably just going to be doing it live. So, fuck it, we'll do it live. No matter what you do, go to this specific URL, predictit.org/promo/hardfactor20. Get your first $20 matched on us in the stock market of politics and bet on these elections this year while you still can. It's a U.S. company, easy to get your cash in and out. Do it because this is the last political action we're having for a little while.
And when you hear this, the second you hear this pod, if you want to get in, do it right when you hear this pod, because Predict It, as great as it is, it's not the best for heavy traffic days. So
Election day is going to be definitely trafficy. Yeah.
to get your bets in early, all my bets are coming out of a nosedive right now. I feel like a genius pilot who's pulling my plane up from its inevitable impact with the earth, because all my bets are turning around and they're going up. They were all negative all the last
Speaking
two
of
weeks.
that,
I'll be
well,
eating
you're
fillets.
turning it around.
I'll be eating fillets this weekend, and I'll prove it with my predicted winnings.
And the blog. Watch the blog. We're going to have one out before the elections start that have all of our sort of insights and picks there with the links to get the 20. But you can also just listen to this.
All right, guys. So real quick, Twitter. They put out a new policy, and essentially,
No.
it's crazy policy. Twitter coming your way, baby. So the big potential issue that might happen this evening, the big thing that everyone's talking about, who knows if it will or not, but it's believed that more Democrats used absentee balloting or early voting than Republicans, right? So there's a theory, right, that tomorrow at the end of the evening, Trump will be in a lead potentially from in-person voting in key swing states. However,
you're saying election night, Tuesday.
Election night tonight.
Okay.
Yeah. However, states like Pennsylvania, which are fucking stupid, and I don't mean the state, I mean the people that run the state, because they have a fucking policy that they can't start counting the 2.4 million mail-in ballots until this morning.
That makes
Ooh, busy day today for them.
Busy day today. It's not going to happen. So point is, we're used to having these big election nights, and we're going to have one, but whoever is leading in in-person voting this evening may not be the winner of the race, right? So Twitter has put these policies in place specifically.
What policy?
The policy is Twitter will flag tweets from certain accounts, including those of presidential candidates who claim a U.S. election
certain
victory.
accounts. Oh, so it's not everybody.
Well, no, I think we qualify potentially.
Blue check marks. Like
No,
big
it's
accounts.
100,000. So
Okay.
I think we're right under. Yeah, which is a bummer. But specifically presidential accounts and accounts with over 100,000, if they claim a U.S. election victory before it's called by 2 of the 7 major media outlets, then they will flag it.
So it's good that we could be first to call it.
We could be first to call it.
Damn it! I wanted to trigger this flag.
Steve Robinson from the Kirk Minahan show texted me. He goes, "What are the odds BNN is suspended by 6 p.m. tomorrow?"
Very good.
Tonight, yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty good, Steve.
Pretty good, Steve.
That's what I said. Tweets that include premature claims of victory will be labeled and direct people to Twitter's official U.S. election page. And essentially, what they'll say is, official sources. There'll be like a little bubble right below the tweet. Say, official sources may or may not have called the race when this was tweeted, or official sources called this election differently.
I see what they're trying to do here. They're trying to prevent the classic troll, like if you're at a basketball game and you're in the crowd and you're like, 3, 2, 1, and you want someone to throw a half-court shot and there's plenty of time left in the clock. I see what they're trying to do.
Well, also they're trying to, I don't know if you guys remember the hanging Chad issue of 2000, where essentially they were doing hand-by-hand recounts, right? And then at a certain point, the Democrats started getting in the lead a little bit, and then that's when the Republicans were like, well, nope, we need to quit this voting. And it was just a whole clusterfuck. So what they're trying to
Best
they're trying to
let
prevent
the dust settle. Yeah,
they're trying to prevent Trump from essentially declaring victory this evening.
Isn't it the Supreme Court that's going to decide all this stuff and not Jack and Twitter?
I think the issue,
probably will.
Jack and Twitter are trying to prevent
thanks, Jack.
violence in the streets. I think
Appreciate
that's
it, bro.
I agree
think
I agree with Pat. It's like it's to stop violence in the streets.
Yes.
Yeah, Jack. It's very noble of him, as always.
Yeah. Well, guys, Facebook got in on the action too, and they've had some policies. I don't know if you guys know them, but they shut down political advertising as of last week, and then it will prohibit all political ads after polls close on November 3rd. So if you hadn't got your political ad in last week, it can still run this week. But then also they're not allowing any new political ads starting today.
Ooh, we should do political ads after the election's called next week and fuck with their systems.
We should do that.
Yeah.
Facebook also said it will remove posts by anyone attempting to engage in poll watching when those calls use militarized language or suggest that the goal is to intimidate, exert control, or display power over election officials or voters. So if there's any guy like,
I'm glad big tech has got us in their safe, strong hands. I feel very safe.
Sounds like they've got it
But with
figured
multi-millionaires deciding what I see.
everyone rest easy. We're good.
Big joke on Twitter, a little bit too late for a Dr. Joe Biden video that dropped on October 30th that appeared to make it look like Joe didn't know what state he was in, saying, "Hello, Minnesota," with a welcome to Tampa banner behind him. The Tampa banner
fake,
was
right?
doctored in, and 1.1 million people saw it before Twitter realized that it was fake, labeled it as manipulated information, and then the user that posted it.
That's terrible. That's terrible.
They have enough
All right.
real
It
gap
worked.
videos. They
It
should
worked because it might have been real.
But it wasn't.
You know, there's like 23 people that changed their vote on that. Out of the 1.1. All right, guys.
He said Minneapolis and Tampa.
He's in Tampa. It's different climate.
All right,
Palm
that's
trees
it.
behind
that's
him.
it. I'm not voting for him. All right, guys. I have a segment called Don't be like these people who aren't listening to our advice to stay calm during the home stretch of this presidential election. So it rolls right off the tongue. First up is the group of people who left severed deer heads next to the Joe Biden and Black Lives Matter signs in Lake Oswego. I don't know if I pronounced that right, Oregon. Don't be like those people that did that. I feel like it's pretty easy to do. If you find yourself at severing the head off of a deer to leave in a threatening fashion level of anxiety, you have to calm down.
Yeah.
I mean, even taking the fact that you're way, way too racist into account, or taking that aside, take that away. Don't even. We'll work on that later. Take that out of the equation. You're going to have a heart attack if you're working yourself up to threatening people by, with decapitated animal head levels. It's just not a good state to be in.
Do we know for a fact that this isn't some sort of cultural gesture of a gift?
Well,
Do we
maybe
know
it's like
that
The
for a fact?
Godfather.
It is.
Maybe it's just big fans of The Godfather.
It is
The
that,
severed.
exactly.
Maybe a
severed-
deer head is delicacy in some
severed horse head.
No, it's a
cultures.
warning. It's a warning sign.
It sounds like a warning.
It's not a
It sounds like
warning. A warning like warning. We're stoked that you're here and we want to
Warning.
welcome you.
Yeah,
It's like warning, I'm dropping these dead deer heads on your
the-
sign.
We're gonna have
Yeah.
actual delicious jerky for you soon. Here's the, no one eats the head. Yeah,
I take it
anyway,
as a warning.
it's a warning. So don't be like that. It was 2 deer heads in separate but close locations. One was placed at the head of a Black Lives Matter sign in a neighbor's yard, and the other was placed at a home down the street next to a Joe Biden sign.
This is like, so when you get to the beheading of animals or anything level, this is like that person who we retweeted on BNN who started out a sentence with like Hitler at least. Whenever you're thinking about a decapitation of any sort or to starting a sentence with like Hitler praising him in any way, like those are just bad. You're gonna make a mistake there.
Yeah, if
you're
you're
going down the wrong path.
if you're in the planning phase of this, you've gone too far. Yeah.
Guys, I'm looking online and a deer head stuffed is expensive. It's like well over $200. Some
Yeah,
of them
but
are like
that's
$500.
tax-
This wasn't stuffed.
This
What
is,
if-
this is
what if they
bloody,
were like,
bloodier
hey,
heads.
It's
we don't
bloody.
have the money to finish this, so we're just
Uh-huh.
going to give you halfway as a gift, and you got to finish it like
Yeah.
a project.
Nah.
Yeah, maybe. Next up,
I'd
according-
also add traffic protests to that list too. Don't just stop.
Yeah.
Stop while you're.
Oh,
ahead.
there's
Don't
another
do
one
it.
I'm adding right here as well. But yeah, you can throw that one in.
Okay.
Next up, according to a Newsweek article on Monday, it turns out Antifa hasn't tired themselves out yet after an already obnoxious 2020 from them, and they plan on having waves of demonstrations on the streets starting as early as tonight. I guess regardless of who is ahead in the election at the time, because from a lot of the Antifa people on social media, they say that neither candidate is good. And look, they may have a point there, but you don't need to do what Twitter user at Guadamami 2 suggested in a tweet that had 20,000 likes before being removed, when he said, "We should all throw bricks through cop car windshields tonight." Don't be like those people that say they're planning to do that, guys. That's
Protesting
bad.
regardless of the winner. I mean, that's just how miserable can you be?
Put the
Like,
bricks down. You can't change shit
Yeah,
when you're doing 20 years for manslaughter from throwing a brick at someone's head.
What was the tweet I saw? It was like, don't forget to cast your ballot, and it said ballot was the brick and ballot box was
That's
the
what I'm
That's
talking
the
about.
one. That's the one. You
That's
just
what I'm
yeah.
talking about.
Yeah.
Twitter finally took that down. Don't throw bricks at people. Don't burn down buildings. There could be, not only is it not your building, but there could be people inside those buildings.
Right. Let's injure people because we're mad that anybody won the election. That's a real great mindset. Thanks, Antifa.
So don't be like those people. Let's all calm down. I feel like the bar is set pretty low here. It's that don't sever the heads off of deers to intimidate your fellow citizens, and don't throw bricks through cop car windows. So
unless
please
you
use,
eat all the
to
meat.
avoid.
yeah, please
unless
use those
you
as
eat all the meat.
guardrails. If you're veering towards those rails, come back towards the center, please.
I'd add praising Hitler and parking demonstrations to those too, or
Sure.
blocking
Right.
traffic, but-
Yeah, don't block traffic.
Yeah.
And then also don't be the guy that says, I'll run them down if I see a protester in the street, and then blocks traffic with your Trump train. Don't do that either. Don't
You know
be
what
a
you guys
hypocrite.
could do instead of those things we just mentioned? Anything else? It would be good.
Yeah, watch the live stream, election live stream.
Yeah,
Watch
there you go.
us. Yeah.
There you go.
All right, some more good news for us. Disturbing news out of Europe, as a terrorist attack in Vienna has left at least one person dead, several more feared dead after several gunmen armed with rifles opened fire on at least 6 locations in Vienna, Austria. The attack started at the Seitenstättensgasse synagogue, the main synagogue in Vienna, just before the national lockdown was about to start. So just one last chance to murder for these fucks. Australia's Chancellor Sebastian Kurz said of the attack, quote, "Our police will act
Austria,
decisively."
right?
Austria. Yep,
Australia, Vienna.
Austria.
Put another shrimp on the Barbie.
Our police will act decisively against the perpetrators of this hideous terrorist attack. We will never allow ourselves to be intimidated by terrorism. So, remember last week the stabbings and the beheading of a woman in Nice in a fucking church. Now
Teacher.
this, By the way, a teacher and in Nice they beheaded the people in one of the ladies in the church. So yeah, it's not good. So by the way,
two of those. In
Was this a religious extremist attack? I mean, obviously it was an attack on.
Yeah, well, they
on
were
Jewish
attacking.
people.
It's a terrorist attack.
Sounded like it.
Yeah, they're considering it a terrorist attack. So multiple individuals. So they're looking for them now. Good news out of France is that they were able to apprehend a couple suspects in the Nice attack. So good work, French police. French President Emmanuel Macron weighed in saying, quote, "We, the French people, share the shock and grief of the Austrian people struck this evening by an attack in the heart of their capital, Vienna. After France, a friend of ours is attacked. This is our Europe. Our enemies must know who they are dealing with." So Europe's under attack by these fucks.
It's a lot of domestic terrorism.
Tell you where you won't find these people is at a bar, because these people don't know how to have fun. They're always indoors plotting at their friend's house.
Well, yeah, they're plotting the terrorist attack.
There's no way. Yeah, but you're not going to ever find them in a bar.
And you know what the worst part about it is
bowling alley or anywhere fun.
When they finally get their caliphate going, they don't even plan on having any bars in the caliphate. That's the other thing that sucks.
Truly terrible.
I kind of understand them not wanting to hang out at bars that exist right now, whatever, they're hateful. But when they get their caliphate, they're not even going to build a new bar just for them.
They're incapable of having fun.
This is also crazy too, because the French reaction I'm seeing is going to potentially could be very strict in terms of limiting religious freedoms, like for people. So
a lot of Muslims are mad at the French prime minister or the French president is taking a real staunch, hard line because of these extremists that are killing people in France, and a lot of Muslims are mad.
Rolling on the streets.
Yes, that are not extremists.
Beheaded.
Yeah,
it's crazy, man. It's a crazy situation. Yeah.
Police are still hunting for these most recent suspects. 15 wounded, including a police officer. Large scale attack. So we'll keep you posted on that one.
Ooh, yes. Hopefully Europe, man. But we think hopefully we chill around here today, tonight, everything this week. But Europe also, hopefully they can chill. Hopefully everybody can chill.
I got a feeling the next story is going to be a nice one.
Yeah, good. Keep it in Europe. They're not chilling yet. If you followed the show, you know that I think non-disabled people who use crossbows are out of their minds for the most part, because
the whole show feels that way, Will.
Well, it's King Joffrey in Game of Thrones, or the countless murdering psychopaths across the European Union that we've covered on this show.
It takes no skill, really.
Crossbow guys are loose cannons.
A lot of Canadian murderers too with crossbows.
Yeah, anywhere where guns aren't allowed. It is basic. Crossbow is the gun of where guns aren't allowed. So that's
what are you, a vampire hunter?
Yeah,
you really need a crossbow?
You're just a gun owner. You're a wannabe gun owner in a place that doesn't allow guns. Probably, most likely.
I think they should get rid of the Nerf crossbow too, because I think it sends a bad message to kids, getting them started early. Because there's a Nerf proper pull arrow.
No.
That's one of the coolest toys, actually.
Dude,
the
Nerf guns though.
Yeah.
It's tough. I don't know.
Oh no.
Got to take a side.
Those Nerf guns are getting real strong too. The new ones.
Strong?
My son's got a couple. No, not too strong. I didn't say too strong. I said they're getting much stronger. They're a lot more fun now. That's for sure.
This is like when Pat said, "Do you think the Tesla goes too fast?"
Yeah, this is going to be one of those situations where you're going to be appalled by my Nerf gun collection once the daughter's old enough.
Oh, it's fine, Mark. They put real
Nerf guns are awesome.
It sounds like it's a real engine, so it's good.
All right. Well, crossbows, guys. Back to crossbows. Nerf is for another day. We've got a Russian crossbow user on the loose, at least one, and they have killed Vladimir Marugov, 54 years old, a.k.a. the Sausage King
they got
of
the
Russia.
Sausage King.
They got the Sausage King. Yep.
No.
Crossbow
Abe
guys.
Froman.
What did he do?
Yeah. Well, yeah, he was just rich. Abe Froman was the Sausage King of Chicago from Ferris Bueller's Day
He was
Off.
also devastatingly handsome.
He was? I don't remember his... Oh, yeah, wait. They did show him in that movie.
When Sloane is like, he's devastatingly handsome on the phone with the snooty concierge.
Like
and
the
then
nickname
concierge
isn't big enough for him.
realizes that he's talking to Abe Froman, the Sausage King of Chicago.
Oh, yeah. He does the impersonation.
He's talking about himself. Yeah. What was this guy's deal, Will?
This
The
guy was
Russian
just
guy.
rich. So the Sausage King and his female partner were in an outdoor sauna on his palatial Moscow area estate when they were
Queen.
the sausage. Well, didn't say partner. It said.
Sounds derogatory when you call her that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think the Sausage King has a few women in and out of the estate. So then they were at the outdoor sauna, outdoor sauna. What is that? That's awesome. And then they were attacked though by at least 2 masked assailants. And this is where it starts to get weird. The woman managed to escape through the window of the outdoor sauna and call the police, allegedly.
Before the attack, probably.
Right. And then the detectives found the body of the Sausage King, who owned many of Russia's largest meat processing plants, in the sauna with the crossbow next to it. Or maybe they found the crossbow later. Conflicting reports on that one.
His business partner got out through the window, and he got murdered in a sauna.
With the weapon left next to his body, or maybe not, or maybe the weapon was just somewhere else. I don't know. The police have one unnamed suspect in custody and are probably looking for more because it was like 2 or more masked people.
And that's Nastasha something, the Sausage Queen.
Mm-hmm. And according to reports, the mass murderer...
The Beef King got him.
It could have been the Beef King. It could have been... This stuff's not adding up. So, according to the reports, they tied him up and her up and demanded money from the Sausage King before killing him and then driving away in a getaway car that was later found by police. But again, the female who was there just like pops through the window, fine, calls the police. The whole thing about where the crossbow was it next to his body? Was it in the car in the suburbs where they found it later? It's just, I don't know.
We fought a lifetime of sausages.
What do you guys think? Do you guys think this is exactly as they reported? It was just some random poor people who wanted money and that's it?
No, I think the Sausage King's like the ladies' man, and there was a group of people that the Sausage King had cucked, and that they got him in the sauna.
That's
anything
plausible.
Has he been talking shit about Putin? Anything out there about that?
No, I think the Sausage King is boys. Is an upstanding citizen over there.
That's risky then.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. They're trying to paint it as like basically a crime of like passion. Like they just wanted money from the Sausage King and that's it. And then
everyone wants money from the Sausage King, but this is not how you go about it.
Right. And also, I don't know why you would leave the murder weapon next to the dead body if you weren't trying to send a message. But then
it sounds like the scene in Eastern Promises. Like, couldn't it have just been like a Russian mafia thing where the Sausage King maybe wasn't paying enough to the mafia, and boom, crossbow and the sauna.
Especially if they left the crossbow next to him. That throws me off. How like one report in the BBC says that the crossbow's sitting there right next to him, and then all the other ones are like, well, no, it was found in the car. Or
you don't get the moniker king if you're having to pay protection, though. I'm just putting that out there. Like you can't be the king of anything and then have to pay the mob something. Usually, if you're the king, they call you that for a reason.
You get too big for your britches.
Was himself. I don't want to speak ill of the dead, the Sausage King, but maybe he himself was in the mob, and he just
No, he sounds like an oligarch here, which I thought those guys were untouchable. But
he is a Russian oligarch. But I think they are touchable.
Didn't one guy get run down by a car in France not too long ago? Like some oligarch?
Yeah, it happens. There's a lot of window deaths, I feel like.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's the latest in oligarch news.
All right, guys. Not sure how we missed this on Monday, and we're real sorry about it, but we missed something big. Huge. On October 30th, I think that was Monday. That was the National Day of Remembrance for Americans killed by illegal aliens.
That was Friday.
Friday. We didn't cover it. I'm sorry. It was an official proclamation by the White House, and we missed it, and it won't happen again. But I want to read some of the official press release from the president's desk. Americans who are killed by illegal aliens are no longer forgotten, and we are ensuring that they will have not died in vain. Our nation solemnly stands alongside the mothers and fathers who are no longer able to see their children grow up and have families of their own, and for the sons and daughters who have lost a parent or loved one at the hands of someone who never should have been in our country in the first place. So it's the official day of remembrance for anyone that was killed by an illegal alien, and I just feel like we should have picked up on it. We didn't. So there we go. I just wanted.
Is there an abbreviation for that day? Is it?
No, but quick update here on the detained migrant children. This is unrelated, down by the border. Lawyers say they can't find the parents of 545 migrant children separated by the Trump administration. But so there you have it.
You blame it all on Trump.
No, I'm saying it's fucking ridiculous that he issued a proclamation from the White House, Day of Remembrance for people killed by illegal immigrants.
I mean, certainly it's a
Did Pat
tragedy.
pick this story when I got off the line?
Yeah,
for a
it's
few
definitely
minutes?
a tragedy to be killed by an illegal alien.
Yes. Well, they don't have a Day of Remembrance, for example,
And-
for school shootings.
Well, okay.
You guys don't see it. This is ridiculous. Okay. Never mind.
I think it's a ridiculous.
A little
holiday,
ridiculous.
but
A little ridiculous. Just
but-
saying. They can't find 545 parents. But yeah. Okay.
find it an interesting selection for you to do on election day. When I was okay, all right, let's move on though.
Well, I mean, they issued the proclamation on Friday. It was timely.
He had to do it.
He had to get it in on election day.
He had to get it in.
Okay, all right. I know it's been an election heavy episode, but
It's a ridiculous proclamation.
But guess what, guys? Today is election day. As you heard from Pat, some people are pretty passionate about it. I'll say it again. Everything is going to be fine, and we will get through this. And by Friday, we're all going to share a good laugh at our favorite state to talk about behind their back, Florida, right? And in a preview of that,
They're going to be in the spotlight this week. I love it.
yeah, no shit. We're going to be talking about Florida all week. And in a preview of that, and what I consider to be the most feel-good story of the entire election season, a woman in Orange County, Florida, wouldn't let anything stop her from casting her vote, including active labor. So, that's right. Elections.
Wait.
Patriot.
But today is the voting day.
She already cast her vote. She was given birth. And
Okay.
Let me explain. That's right. Elections employee Karen Briceño Gonzalez was surprised when a woman's husband asked her for a ballot. He said for his wife, who was in the car in active labor and refusing to go to the hospital until she was able to vote. I think this was a week ago today, last Tuesday. Gonzalez rushed the ballot to the woman in the car, assuming since there was a week left, she would fill out the ballot, whenever after giving birth, return it. But having practiced the wonderful skill of Lamaze breathing, the woman was able to fill out the ballot right there while keeping the kid fully inside her vagina. So she controlled breathing, she filled out the ballot, and she got it in officially. So yeah, congrats there.
You
for
know
her.
what? That's a genius idea. She got to skip the whole line if there was a line because she's like, I'm in labor. Give me the vote. Give me the card.
They might have planned the whole pregnancy around that.
Right. You could get so many things done when you go into labor or just claim you're in labor.
Because the
And just
voting
say, like,
line's annoying.
Yeah, you take that to an amusement park, you're cutting every line. If you're saying like, "Hey, I'm gonna give birth to this baby right after I ride this roller coaster,"
I haven't ridden the howler yet, and I need to. Yeah, okay. Look, they said we are very, very busy, but when something like that happens, it just makes our day. That was the election, another election official on site, and so yeah, nobody can give that lady shit or talk politics to anyone if they don't vote, as that woman did it while she was giving birth. And that's going to do it for Hard Factor. Stick with us all week. We will have election coverage. Everyone stay calm. You're going to be fine. Everything's going to be fine. We love you guys. Thanks for your support. Make sure you have a great fucking day. We'll see you tonight.